we're recording, bro. That's why you gotta leave it. You gotta leave it on.
You gotta leave it on, hijo. Hijo, leave it on. Leave on the sound before I come into the studio, hijo. Hijo, please leave me alone. That's not what it's for, pendejo.
Dude, this is great, bro. We're back in the studio. Man, I wish you guys could see JR. We've lost this camera. This fucking guy.
It's in the shop, bro. I'll be back.
We had a camera for 2 episodes, dude, so you guys could see his mug. I wish you could see him right now, dude. I'm going to take a picture and put it in the edit. Wow! He's looking like Mario Brothers' third brother that didn't make it, dude. You know when they go to do repairs? Because Mario and Luigi were plumbers. When they go to do repairs, they go, "Hey, JR, you stay in the car." Because he looks too much like Mario, fool. Like, did they both have mustaches?
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi?
Yeah.
Mario, Luigi, and JR. Man, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to say this. I know some of you guys listen to the podcast because I see the downloads, but I would suggest to watch it because we do a lot of little edits and stuff like that where I throw up a picture of something I'm talking about. And I think a few people have said, oh, it's pretty cool to watch. It's like a little bonus, you know, to watch it. And then you can see, for example, JR's fucking mustache. Which that shit should have a podcast of its own, dude. You know what I mean? And look, if you can hear if JR's voice sounds a little different because it's getting filtered through the mustache. There's like a little filter. So it's like, you know, they used to call those dick brooms back in the day, right?
Fuck you. You just made that up.
No, you know what a dick broom is?
No.
Picture sweeping the dick.
That's so fucking stupid.
That's so funny, bro. Look. Oh, dick broom ass having. Bro, you look like Cheech and Chong.
I know, dude. I can feel it, dude. You're just insecure about your mustache and you want to attack mine. That's fine.
Dude, my
bro.
mustache is kind of legit when
I
it
mean,
happens.
It's okay.
What's funny is I had so many fake mustaches when I was a kid. Like, I'd always want to have a mustache that I think I permanently, and I may have said this already in a podcast, but I may have permanently lost from the glue a patch of the hair. So it never looks good. There's always a patch right here. And if you really want to be an asshole about it, I got to fill it in with a marker. Bro, you look like a barista that got laid off.
I did get fired from Starbucks.
I know, because of your fucking drip coffee technique, which we talked about on the last episode. Oh, yeah. Shout out to the people that are listening and commenting and having a good time with the podcast. I'm glad it's resonating with some people, and I'm glad people are looking forward to hearing an episode. So we're not just making it and putting it out there. Because you know what that's like. You go, why are people making this shit? Dude, it's so funny. I listen to, because a lot of my friends are comedians and they all have podcasts. So sometimes I'll listen to like a non-comedian podcast and I'm like, holy shit. Not that comedians are the only ones that should have podcasts, but it's a different pacing. Timing is different. It's like I listen to some fishing podcast. Dude, it's like fucking watching paint dry, dude. They're like,
Yeah, you know, I use a 2-aught rig for the 2-spool. But Gary makes a nice, San Diego knot. All right.
and it's like, fuck Chuck, dude. And I love fishing. And I'm like, yeah,
Dude,
speed it up.
That's the way podcasts are. So if you listen to like a NPR podcast or a fucking informational podcast, it goes, hi, and today
On Smooth Air.
we're listening to, and then you're like, what the fuck? Speed it up,
dude.
dog.
But I generally, and you guys can do this too. It gives you a little chipmunk voice effect. You can listen to this podcast on like if you're listening to it on like 1.25 speed, which I always do because it speeds through the podcast and you get all the information. Especially if my drive's only like half hour and the podcast hour long, it helps me get through the podcast faster or whatever. For me, it just gets because you can hear, just like when you listen to an audiobook, I always listen to it a little faster than the normal speed because your brain's listening to all the information. And when you read, sometimes it's faster than that. So anyway, you guys can't listen to this faster. It just sounds like this. But if you listen to this faster, this part, then this part's like super fast. And I'm just doing this if you're listening to 1.5 speed. I wonder what that sounded like. And I'll fucking play it back. Sounds like this. But if you listen to this faster, this part, then this part's like super fast. And I'm just doing this if you're listening to 1.5 speed. So now that's going to be quadruple speed. This last weekend was pretty cool. I had I had a great day yesterday, man. It was like one of the best Sundays I've had in a long time. Did so much stuff, man. I don't know if you guys are like me, but in the pandemic, I've been just kind of getting lost in the days, just becoming all the same shit. Like every day is the same day. And I noticed it yesterday that a lot of people are like calling it a night early because there isn't anywhere to go out at night. For us, there's no comedy clubs. And for a lot of people, there isn't any like nightlife. There's no bars. There's no nothing to go to. So like people are home and they're in bed early. And it was Sunday and I wanted to grab some breakfast on one of these patios that's open now. And, I told my girl, I was like, let's go eat some brunch, dude. So we get up and we thought we were up early. And I'm like, we're going to beat the crowd. It was like 10, and in Hollywood, normally before the pandemic, dude, there ain't nothing happening on a Sunday because everyone's out partying and doing whatever they do. So you get there maybe around noon, then the brunch spots get packed, or 1, the brunch spots get packed. But if you go at 10, dude, there's nobody. You and a couple old people that live in Hollywood for some mysterious reason. Dude, if you're over 70, get out of Hollywood. Unless you're like a fucking character actor, dude. Don't be in Hollywood. I never understood why there's older people in Hollywood that just live here. It's like, why would you live here? I do the shit. I don't want to live here. We were out there trying to get brunch, right? We just went to this place, Blue Jam. And now how they have it is like people are just waiting in this long ass line because it's spaced out. And so you go up to the line and there's no hostess or host calling out the names. You just have to wait in the line and then whoever's next gets a table. Right? So then I just went to the front and I go, how long's the wait? And the lady's like 45 minutes. So then I walk back, and I love doing this. If there's people like in the line listening, I always like come back with and say something. Like I walk back and I go, she said 3.5 hours. Like I'm saying it to my girlfriend, but I'm actually saying it to other people here. And they're like, what? And I hear the little rustle and bustle in the crowd. They go, what? She said 3 hours. What's 3?
You try to get that laugh in.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then now it's even worse. Dude, I doubled up on that one. And Sarah even caught it because I did the joke, and I'm like, I'm just kidding. Like I need to get my jokes in, right? So we haven't been on stage, so I'm rushing to get jokes in everywhere. And when I'm in public now, I'm just like firing off these whatever, man. I don't even know if I'm funny anymore. I'll be honest. And I said the joke, and then the couple looked at each other, and they're like, what? And I saw them make the face, and that was the reaction I was looking for. And I was like, oh, I'm just kidding. And then they're like, oh, and they like laughed a little bit too. And then I should have left it at that.
And you don't.
I didn't, dude. I didn't. And then we walk away because Sarah and I were like, 45 minutes is a little too long. So we walk away. And then I turn around, and the couple that was right in front of us in line, they walked away. So I turn around and I go, it worked, honey. Let's go back.
Dude.
Again to them so they would hear it. And they're like, now the laugh got a little annoyed.
Yeah.
Now they're going, and they were like, fuck that guy, probably. Yeah, I couldn't leave it. I had to get one more. I had to squeeze the lemon a little more.
Yeah. Fuck it,
You got to try, bro. You got to try. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the point was, it was super busy, dude. So we didn't go to eat that place. We just kept walking. And then I was sitting later having coffee, and there's these 2 dudes like sitting kind of, and I'm just people watching. And I fucking love people watching, dude. Eavesdropping, people watching, that's me. I love watching people, dude. I observe people all day and take in mannerisms, see what people are doing and shit. Like, I love doing that. And eavesdropping more, dude. I listen when I'm sitting at a table. I might not even be listening to you. I'm listening to the motherfuckers in the booth behind us. So now I'm listening to these dudes over here, right? And they're 2 guys. And I'm like, this is a first date. We're close to West Hollywood. It's a very gay neighborhood. So it's not uncommon. I'm like, oh, there's 2 guys clearly on a first date because they're getting to know each other. Yeah, it's a first date.
First dates.
Bro, it's that first date energy. The guy's like, I don't know. I've had 2 brothers and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. So they're getting to know each other. And then I'm like listening. And then all of a sudden, one of the dudes goes, yeah. And then, I guess it's cool. And I hooked up with this chick the other day that got the vaccine. I was like, hooked up. And then I started listening. He's like, yeah, I just fucked this chick the other week that had. And I was like, what? And then he said that. And I go, what? Hold on. And then I look at him, but then he was doing the check-in face because he was like, yeah, and I fucked this girl, and he like looked at the guy to see if he, and then I started to think more. I'm like, oh my God, is this one of those first dates where they met on a site and they're like, I'm not really gay, but my girlfriend's out of town, I'll give it a shot. Because I have a homie who told me that is a thing too, where they'll be like, some gay dudes want to date straight guys.
Yeah.
So that's more desirable is to be with the guy that says he's straight or is straight, right? But I was like, dude, there's no way. You'd got to be able to tell. And I don't know if like in the beginning of the date they both were, putting on the straight. Yeah, my girlfriend's gone, dude. Fuck that shit, dude. I love hunting. I'll go
slowly. It started.
Yeah,
shattering.
they slowly. No, just like they forgot about the character. So they're like, and then every now and then he'd be like, I fucked the chick. I fucked this chick the other night. So whatever. And he had to keep checking back into that. And I don't know if they were both like after this date, this coffee date, if the one guy's gonna go home and go, oh, dude, the guy was totally fucking gay. He told me he was straight and he was totally gay.
That's the thing, though. I had a boss in the hood. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was, he's gay, and he would tell me, he'd be like, "Yeah, man, I go after straight dudes."
The homie that I have is the same way. Like he's like, dude, I only like fucking with straight guys.
Yeah.
Or at least pretend, and he'll pretend that he's straight. Like he'll like have guys come over and be like, "Oh, my girl's out, so fucking make it quick."
But he's just doing that to pass the time.
And that's what I thought was going on here. All these things are preconceived notions I have in my head.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, these guys are totally for sure gay. Dude, I'm sitting here wearing pink, right? And I'm talking to you about this shit. And there's some places that you might go to and be like, yeah, you wearing fucking pink, man? What are you fucking wearing pink for? You pussy? I never understood that, dude. They're like, oh, dude, it's fucking pink, man. You wear pink? What are you, fucking pussy? Yeah, dude, I'm fucking pussy. I love pink, dude. It fucking pops out. I wear a lot of black, too, man. I wear a lot of black. Maybe I don't put a lot of colors on. But if I do have a color, it's going to be pink. And if you have a problem with that, talk to my boyfriend. I don't care, bro. I'll tell you right now, dude. I'll be fucking as fluid as you want me to be.
If they make a simulation where you could be a girl, would you do it?
I already tried it. No, if they had a simulation where you could be, I'd want to be a girl for like a week just to see what it's like, I think if every guy could be a girl for a week, then you'd probably change the way you acted toward women and shit like that, You may not.
It depends if you're a good-looking girl or a bad-looking girl.
Oh, you got to be a good-looking girl.
Yeah, because that's going to change.
Because, dude, it's so funny because people's looks dictate how they are going to have the experience in life. Their experience in life, people's experience in life is dictated solely on, this is wrong. I got to say that again.
Yeah.
People's experience in life is drastically affected by how they look or the cards they were dealt in the looks department. I'm telling you right now, dude. Because a hot chick is going to get way different treatment than a fucking chick that's not that pretty, man.
Yeah.
And they know it. You know it. I know it.
People just don't like talking about it.
No, people don't talk about it because it's fucking, it's some real shit that no one wants to talk about. But it's like, dude, that's why people feel entitled. Pretty chicks feel entitled. And then you see who's complaining and writing Yelp reviews. Usually it's a not attractive person, because they're not getting their way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen it all day, dude. Like, an attractive chick will walk in and be like, oh, I got a complaint with this. But the guy will be like, oh, all right. And just, like, fix it, right? And you see the way they carry themselves or whatever interaction that they're having with something. It's just like, okay, you've been given a lot of things throughout your life because you look a certain way.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't understand why other people don't get that.
You can't comprehend it.
They can't comprehend it because they never had to experience that. It's just like if you worked in a restaurant, all right, and you go to a restaurant, you treat the fucking waiter different.
Yep.
All right. So when you lived in the skin of somebody else, and now maybe through the years you work out or you become more attractive or you've done whatever you've done and you grew out of the awkward phase and now you look like, by society's measures, attractive.
You're like doing a little tightrope.
It's not tightrope. It's just like, how do you say this to make the most sense?
Yeah.
So if you were fucking ugly in high school and then now you look fucking hot, you're going to act different because you know what that person that was ugly felt like. Right? So that's what I think everyone should be ugly for a while. And I'm not talking about fucking Tyra Banks putting on a fat suit. Did you see that shit?
Yeah,
Tyra Banks puts on a fat, oh, I can't believe I was treated.
Get the fuck out of here.
Bitch, you've been fucking pretty your whole life. By society's measures. You've been pretty your whole goddamn life, so you can't say that, People like me and JR, dude, looking goofy and shit.
We had to work on our mouth.
We had to work on it. I had to get funny so people would like me. I had to become a funny person so people would like me and I could kick it with some bitches. You know what I mean? It's like looks will fade. And if you don't develop that talent to speak to somebody or speak to a person of the opposite sex that you're attracted to or the same sex that you're attracted to, dude, that shit gets only harder as you get older. Because like if you didn't learn the groundwork when you were a kid, now motherfuckers are reading books like what to do to get it, nigger. Hey, you fucking, your shirt looks stupid. Like all these guys that are reading these books to try to like fucking figure out the game or that book, the fucking game. It's like, come on, dude. The only way you could do that is just like any other job. It's like on the field training. You got to go get rejected. You got to get, in JR's case, pepper sprayed a few times before you figure that shit out. And that's just the only way to do it. I'm not making the rules up. The rules are made up. The rules are made up as the game goes. All right? And that's just all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Dude, I didn't make the rules, man. That's just the way the game's played. I have a book coming out. The way the game is motherfucking played.
That's a good book.
It is, right?
That's a good title of a book. Woo!
So that's it. Either be funny or you got to be good looking. But, dude, Tyra Banks, yeah, bitch. She put on a fat suit and couldn't handle it for 2 days. Motherfuckers live like that for their whole life. It's a cruel
Fucking
world.
audacity she had.
But the world is cruel, and that's just the way it's set up, dude. And I think you get benefits from both sides. If you're pretty, you might get a fucking discount on an oil change, but if you're fucking ugly, you might be a funny motherfucker. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And, dude, it's like, as a kid, maybe my dad would say some shit to me that made me feel, like I was a fucking ugly or weird-looking kid. It's fucked up. But, hey, I'm glad he did it because now I can tell a motherfucking joke. So that's the things that I struggle with all the time is like that stuff. Like
imagine you were just fucking gorgeous from the get-go. You've just been just a model. No personality. Just a little...
Glad I wasn't, bro. So if you're listening to this and you're younger and you have an awkward look to you, man, you'll grow out of it. You'll fucking grow out of it.
Because I got rejected a lot of times.
You're still getting rejected. I'm watching you. Okay, so I watched this documentary on Netflix. I think it came out in 2020, but I don't know how I didn't see it because I watched every single documentary that there's to watch. I watch every documentary that there is to watch on Netflix. JR is playing a clip of one right now. I watch all of them, dude. I'm a Netflix junkie, dude. You give me a movie with a script and a plot, I don't give a about it, dude. But you give me somebody was murdered, I ain't watching it. I'll watch it every freaking day, dude. I'll watch any 2020. I'll watch any she killed this guy and that guy died. You know that. I am that type of guy. I only watch documentaries. I like to learn stuff. I don't like watching bullshit movies. I think all movies now are too long. I think every movie could be 45 minutes. What the fuck you got to do a 2-hour movie? Just tell me the fucking plot, get to the point. Show me the cool things. And then you watch the trailer. The trailer shows you the whole fucking movie. The trailer shows you the whole movie. Oh, that he's a ghost now? I watch trailers and make up the rest of the movie in my head. Have a fucking imagination, dude. You won't have to pay for another ticket to the movies if they ever open. AMC stock going down. Side note. All right. So now there's this documentary on Netflix. No, Charles Manson used to do that when he fucked up.
Really?
He used to do like go into something. I don't know if he did it purposely, but I would watch an interview. I'll play a little bit of it. I don't even know what the legality of that is, but I will. It's Manson, bro. The guy's a fucking lunatic. Are they gonna come after me? I don't know. Why'd you come after me? Who did? You? You can't come after me. I'll come after you. For what?
Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like wolves kebab friends? Get friends.
You fucking watch so
I
many.
love Manson, bro. I love Manson. So fucking Charles Manson would do this thing where he fucked up. He was like, and I'll go, if he fucked up what he was saying, he'd roll into something else and be like, I meant to do that. And that's a form of control to your subject because you don't want them to know what you're thinking. So I do that sometimes. When I fuck up, I'll just roll into another thing that was like, I meant to do that change. So Netflix put out this documentary. It's called Made You Look. And then what it is a story of this huge fine art fraud, right? This like fancy fucking art gallery, the Knoedler Gallery, was busted selling $80 million of fake artwork. Fake artwork, dude. 80 million bucks. That's so crazy. The person responsible for that should be fucking murdered when you're dealing with that much money. And it's a very interesting documentary. If you get a chance, go watch it, dude. It's called Made You Look on Netflix. The story is incredible, dude. And it goes from the Knoedler Gallery, who is owned by, I believe, Michael Armand Hammer, who is related to fucking the Armand Hammer, the kid that's in the news for wanting to cut off bitches' toes and eat their blood and all that. That same Armand Hammer, this is his dad who owned the gallery, who had all this fucking money. Whatever. He had this gallery, and it was in business for 160 years or something, and then it got brought down because the fucking sales lady, Ann Friedman, this older sales lady that was there for 30 years, who got a little greedy, I think knew that there was fakes coming out. So the thing is, with fine art, it's fucking bullshit. And it's all insider shit, dude. They do this for covers. Like, they'll cover, like, the fine art world is like a fucking tax hide for a lot of these rich people, because they'll just buy some shit and be like, oh, yeah, I'll pay $20 million for that. Is it really worth $20 million? No, but on paper, now it says that this shit's worth $20 million. And they'll do it all in-house. They'll do it to each other, right? They'll sell it for $20 million, and then they'll sell it to another buddy. Oh, now $40 million.
Yep.
Okay, fucking $40 million bucks. And then now it's time to donate it. They'll donate it to a museum when it's tax time and be like, hey, I made a donation of $40 million bucks. Was that fucking piece of shit worth $40 million? No, but it says it on paper. I'm running out of breath. But you get what I'm saying. It's all bullshit. They're little tax hides. One fucking painting JR showed me was, what was it? The
Salvatore
Mundi, the most expensive one. $450 million bucks for a fucking piece of paint. And we're like, who the fuck bought it? Because we were watching the auction. And it's so funny. These auctions, they always have these fancy voices. And going now for sale. If you talk like that, if the auctioneer talks like that, and for now upon the auction, blah. If that dude talks like that, this art's going to go for millions. In the millions, at least. You can't have a guy go, all right, now we got on the fucking stand. On the easel, if you look. This is a piece by Salvatore Mondavi. That shit ain't going to sell for nothing, dude. But if you get a guy talking like this, then it's going to sell for some millions. And this thing sold for $450 million bucks. $450 million bucks. And they're like, oh, it's a private buyer, or, you know, he wants to remain anonymous, you know, because you guys have a lot of money. And then it turned out it was some prince. So whatever, this dude bought the piece of art, and now that's just what it's worth now, $450 million. It's all subjective, dude. It's all, okay, what does one person think of this fucking artwork? Like, look at this shit. This is a Rothko here. What the fuck is that? I was walking yesterday when I was telling you guys that I was walking around and going to get brunch. I saw a Rothko. Look at this fucking thing. Look at this. Doesn't that look like a Rothko? You know what that is? That's a fucking billboard that's been painted over. It's a poster that was painted over. Could I get $4 million for that? $3 million? $2 million, you think? Motherswell was another one that was counterfeited. It's like a fucking child could have counterfeited these. Look at this. This is a Motherswell. And they're like, we didn't know how counterfeit it could be. It's like, I could fucking do this. What do you mean? You didn't think that this could have been counterfeited, you fucking idiots? It's literally black paint smeared around on a white canvas, dude. And yeah, you could age it. There's guys that are experts in aging that. And I guess, okay, the Pollock, Jackson Pollock, This is what a Jackson Pollock looks like. If you don't know, it's like this paint splatter everywhere. Those are pretty cool looking. But dude, anybody with a fucking shaking hand and a couple gallons of paint can make a fucking Pollock, as far as I'm concerned.
They go for like 200 million.
Yeah, they go for 20 million, 50 million, 200 million. Why the fuck is this guy's shaky hand worth more than my shaky hand? I could splatter the same kinds of paints, but it's just has the history. It's got provenance. They go, it's got provenance. Provenance is the history of the painting. So if a painting has good provenance, or whatever the fuck the word is, that means that there's a lineage and there's actually a history that can be traced on wax, on paper, that says exactly where this painting came from, right? And that lends itself to the letter of authenticity and all that shit. So these paintings, and this is how fucked up this Knoedler gallery was, and fucking Ann Friedman, who said she didn't know that they were counterfeits. And this is a lady who's worked in the business for 30 fucking years. 30 years, you knew how rare paintings from these artists are. The Rothkos and the Motherland Child, whatever the fuck the other one.
Motherswell.
The Motherswell and like the Pollocks. You know how rare these are?
Yeah.
So Ann Friedman knows how rare all this shit is, right? Like all these art pieces. She works at the gallery for 30 years, okay? You got to know when somebody comes up to you, like this lady, Graciela Rosales, and her boyfriend, what was his name?
Jose Carlos Diaz.
Jose Carlos Diaz, all of a sudden comes up to you and goes, hey, man, boy, do I got a fucking deal for you. I have 50 paintings that are these crazy pieces of art from one guy that's a collector. No one's heard of him. His name is Mr. X. He wants to remain anonymous. They call him Mr. X. And he's this rich Mexican dude, and he wants to remain anonymous, but he's got all these pieces of art. And she gives a backstory. You got to watch the documentary. I don't want to say the whole documentary. The shorthand of it is the lady comes up and goes, hey, I have all these pieces of art that are worth millions and millions of dollars. Here, I'm going to give you a deal on them. You buy them, and then you sell them. So you give me $800,000, and you can sell it for $4 million, $5 million, which what the markup on these paintings was. So she'd get the Anne Friedman lady would get a painting for like $700,000 and then sell it for $2 million, like a Rothko. And then they would go through the painstaking trouble of making the provenance, the fucking shit that said, hey, look, we got 20, 30 experts that say this looks like a Rothko, so it's got to be a Rothko without any official shit. And then the painting looks like this. I can make that, dude. And then the dude that's doing whatever. I maybe I'm spoiler alert here.
You still got to watch it, though.
You got to watch it because everybody knows the story. Everybody knows the story that there were counterfeits. That happened. That was in 2012. The fucking thing shut down. I think in 2008, 2009 is when they got busted. Because they did $80 million worth of fraud. Mm-hmm. And the way that the whole ring got taken down apparently is because there was one Jackson Pollock painting that went for all this money. And Sotheby's, which is an auction house. Sotheby auction house is like a really prestigious, like high dollar auction house. They wouldn't sell this Jackson Pollock that someone had bought for like $4 million or $5 million because they said, hey, there's no provenance or we can't sell that one because we did some tests on it. And the yellow paint that's in that Pollock wasn't invented or that shit wasn't around until the 70s. And Jackson Pollock died in like 56 or something in a car crash. So how the fuck did he use paint from the future? Motherfucker's Marty McFly. Right? So that's why they caught this scam. And then Anne Friedman, she's like, she gets off free, by the way. Like nothing happened to this fucking lady. And it's like millions and millions of dollars of fraud, ruined people's fucking lives, all sorts of money that was, I don't know how they collected again. But the thing is, it happened to rich people. So who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That's why no one gave a fuck. It's like, oh, it happened to rich people. It's 40 million. This guy's got 100 million. Who cares?
Oh, if it happened to you, dude, if they took you for $30.
If they took me for $10.
Oh, that's so fucking funny, dude. The new thing now is having kids make art. Like, there's a couple, I don't know the names of these kids, but they're like, their parents were artists and they're making these guys do art and they're selling for hundreds of thousands.
I gotta get kids. I gotta have some kids. I mean, I don't know what to do. I gotta have a little sweatshop of kids. All right, guys, today we're doing Rothkos. Hey, is that a Rothko? I don't know. Hey. I'll make the kids make Rothkos. I don't give a shit, dude. Wallflowers, whatever her name is.
Mother's well.
Whatever. You know what I meant. Rothflower. That's a Rothko. That's a Rothko mixed with a Mother's Well.
I'll tell you this.
I do fucking collaborations. Back. This is, they fucking hung out one time. They went to a trip to Cancun with that cruise. This is a fucking mother's child. That's a Mothko. That's a mix. I'd start selling shit for fuck. I'm going to be a fucking auctioneer. I don't give a 45, 35, 45.9. This is the bit. 45, 65, 45. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? I already know I'm paying fucking 10 grand more. Why you got to rub it in with a. You know what I mean? 45, 65. How the fuck do we get to 65? You just doesn't make sense. But these auctions don't do it. The silent auctions, the Sotheby's and shit, they do it all silent. It's just rich people going with their fucking tight lips. I don't know why rich people always have tight lips. Isn't that true? You got to go to their lips and they're.
When you're that rich, you have an assistant buy your fucking art. That's crazy. Because they don't even show up.
That's
you
right.
Think the
Pretty soon I'm going to have you go buy art for me, dude. Hey, go get that fucking IKEA fucking.
IKEA art.
Go get that IKEA.
IKEA art is bullshit sometimes.
No,
too,
dog, it's great.
Like, why are you paying? I'm not paying.
I got a few fucking pieces hanging in my pieces, bro. When you call something a piece, I got them hanging in my bedroom, fool. IKEA fucking paintings, dude.
Google, big begeer van Stapels, Frank, British,